start then?
I guess so. Welcome to episode 2 of Retsutalk.
Thank you, Sega Sky, for that intro.
And please remind me to actually put the intro in here, otherwise that'll sound really stupid.
No, yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
No. The best thing is, too, we actually synced up listening to the intro before starting this, so it's totally legit.
So yeah, we got us in the groove to Retsutalk.
I'm also going to apologize if anyone hears any sort of loud popping or explosion kind of sounds in the background.
I know, what the shit is that?
I'm in the war zone of Fallujah, basically. No, it's Independence Day.
Oh, really? Well, I'm in Alabama, so I usually just think it's gunshots, because it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it is the South.
Right.
But happy Independence Day.
This is a great day to murder somebody if you want to get away with it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So if you're listening to this and it's still July 4th somehow...
If you're listening to this and you're European and you've never heard of Independence Day...
then get out.
We're going to talk about it for the next 59 minutes.
Stop listening to this. You don't deserve it.
No, that's ridiculous. Come on.
No. How have you been celebrating the 4th, America's birthday?
Went to a fireworks show.
Oh, how original.
Yeah, once you're like past, I don't know, what is it, 15 maybe? It's all the same.
Once you've seen 15 fireworks shows, you kind of get the idea. You know what to expect.
Like, they try to switch it up on you nowadays, like, oh, here's a green in the middle of red. And
Whoa, rapid fire?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, and it's like for the big intro, let's just shoot everything we have left at once.
We restocked way too much, get rid of it!
What are the fireworks supposed to represent again? Like war? Like, is it really, like, the Revolutionary War? Like, was that colorful? Is that the notion I'm getting?
When were fireworks first started? When was
China?
the technology advent? Wait, we're celebrating China? Who we're in debt to right now?
I think they're... it was very prophetic. Didn't
Some
they,
Independence Day.
invent gunpowder or something? I don't know. That and opium. That's all I know from, like, BC China.
Email us with your feedback on Chinese fireworks history at... do we have contact info?
No, I don't know what email is.
Tweet us.
Put your questions in a letter in a bottle and throw them to the sea.
Make sure they're in Chinese characters, otherwise we won't understand them.
They will end up on the Jersey Shore alongside the syringes.
Ugh.
Indeed.
Is the Jersey Shore as bad as MTV makes it look?
Yes. Right, yes and no.
This is part 1, Jersey Shore chat.
The thing that, like, nobody kind of understands about Jersey, thanks to shit like the Jersey Shore and the Sopranos, is it's kind of a huge state. So, like, along the northeast, you get, like, the whole New York City wannabe crowd, and then, like, the northwest is this, like, boondock, hillbilly kind of place, and then, like, there's, like, central Jersey where you get shot, and then there's, like, South Jersey, which is all ag, and then
New Jersey's
like,
pretty small,
Philadelphia.
though. Like, you have a lot cramped into there.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, per capita, there's a lot of, can I call it culture?
No. No.
But anyway, yeah, you have the total, like, Guidos and Seaside Heights, and that's where we get the Jersey Shore from.
And which part of Jersey do you live in?
I live in Jersey City, actually.
Is that, which demographic of what you just said is that?
That's the right outside New York City crowd.
Oh, right. Oh, you're one of those people.
Absolutely, I am. And also, they did film Snooki and JWoww here. They got an apartment, and I was happy to say a lot of the bars and stuff had signs up that said, like, no MTV. Yeah. Like, nobody, like, it was so annoying because they originally wanted to film in Hoboken, and the mayor of Hoboken's like, no, we don't want you. But then the fucking mayor of Jersey City's like, hey, we'll take you, we want money. So, but a lot of, like, local businesses that wanted nothing to do with it.
So you don't have that heroic mayor who's all badass and stuff, right? Corey something?
Who?
The mayor of Newark.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, he gets on the news a lot, like he helps people in dire situations, and he does it a surprisingly high, frequently.
All we have is that fat idiot, Chris Christie, who's just like, you're an idiot, give me a turkey drumstick or some shit, you know?
Prospective Vice President of the United States.
Yeah.
I
mean, how is Alabama? Because I imagine that...
How is it? How much time do we have on this podcast?
I was thinking it's completely fungible with, like, Kentucky, Georgia.
Well, Alabama has the luxury of being adjacent to Mississippi and not being quite as bad as that. Like Well, it's true. Like, Mississippi is just a cultural wasteland. Mississippi has nothing going for it. At least Alabama has a decent college football team and can get on the national scale of being something good. Sure, it may be last place in everything else that matters, like health care, murder, poverty, and shit. But Mississippi is literally worse in every single category.
Can we just throw out the Alabama State slogan, not as bad as Mississippi?
It may as well be. I think the slogan is like the heart of Dixie, and I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what Mississippi's slogan is, but I think the Mississippi slogan is just somebody drooling from their mouth. Like, it has nothing going on there. I've driven through Mississippi before, going to New Orleans, and it is just there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There are no cities. There's nothing fun. It's somewhat scenic, I'll give it that. There's nice trees and shit, but when you get past that, it's trees and shit. You kind of want to get out of Mississippi as soon as possible. And then you're in Louisiana, and you're like, oh my god, this isn't much better.
I've only been to Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and New Orleans I thought was pretty cool.
New Orleans is very cool. I've been there a few times, yes.
Yeah. I used to go to Mardi Gras every year.
Every
year, my thing to do. You ever been?
I've never been to Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras seems like something that's a little bit too much for me. Like just sensory overload. Maybe, I don't know.
If you like, all right. So Bourbon Street is pretty much the like tourist trap of where it's all girls.
Right. That's where the people try to swindle you out of cash area.
It's more like the cops are really corrupt and try to arrest you, so you bribe them. So yeah.
You've been there.
No, I've been there a few times, and I have local friends who are locals and such. And if you stay off of Bourbon Street, and even if you stay at the outskirts of the French Quarter, I know where you're going. Don't like cross Armstrong Park is where I hear.
Yeah.
But if you kind of know where you're going, and you kind of stay like in the outskirts, and like kind of go to like Frenchman Street, which is like a cool little offshoot of the French Quarter. Like there's like a lot of cool shit to be had there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not too touristy and shit like that, and like. Yeah, and not quite. No, all right. It's sort of its own thing, but bad restaurants don't last in New Orleans. So even if you go to a shitty,
for sure.
If you go to a shitty tourist place, it's still like fucking 4 or 5 star. You know. That said, don't go to a shitty tourist place, but even so.
You ever been to a Jazz Fest?
No, I want to go.
I want to go to that too. That's on my bucket list.
Well, my friends, 2 of my friends who live down there were like, they invited me to Mardi Gras, and they're like a married couple, and they're. I was in my early 20s, and they were in, like, their early 30s, and when they invited me to Mardi Gras, I'm like, I always assumed it was, like, that Girls Gone Wild kind of shit, so I'm like, really? There? And they're like, yeah, come on down, and I went, every year since then, but now Jazz Fest is something I would totally like to try. I was in a parade, in a few Mardi Gras, because they have parades all the time.
Like, in the parade?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you have crews, they're called, and they run the parades, and if you want to be an official parade, of course, there's, like, all, like... shit you have to do with the city and things like that. But, like, there's, like, little local, like, people who just dress up and walk over. So, one of the more traditional ones is called Zulu, which is, like, it's sort of like a black parade, and they kind of make fun of a lot of black stereotypes. So there's, like, guys, like, throwing spears and coconuts and things like that. I mean, it's totally self-aware,
It's the Resident Evil 5 of parades.
Yes, that is how I would put it. But, my friend Henry, ran a parade called Julu, which is supposed to be the Jewish version of that. So I'm not Jewish, but I was in it anyway. So you just dress up and like throw like beads to kids and like drink a fuck ton. And the worst was the second year I went as Bacchus. So I was in like a toga with grapes and I had a chalice. And we started at 8 a.m. and my friend filled my chalice full of tequila sunrise, which I, like, finished in 20 minutes, and then people along the parade route were, like, pouring fucking, like, liquor into my chalice, and I think I passed out around 4 or 5 p.m., which apparently is pretty good for Mardi Gras, but, because you're walking all over the fucking city in, like, a costume when it's, like, hot as shit, because it's the fucking bayou, and drinking like an animal.
And that's how you became moderator.
And that's how I became the moderator.
Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would very highly recommend Mardi Gras, by the way. It was a really cool time.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who live in New Orleans, too. They're trying to find something to get me to come down there, but haven't found it yet. Jazz Fest, those on the top of my list.
I actually went to Mardi Gras the year after Hurricane Katrina. and wow, let's not talk about it. No, it was really weird because, again, my friends that live down there are like, hey, you coming this year? And I'm like, hey, you having it this year? And they were having it, and it was funny because...
Bring your scuba gear, let's have some fun.
Yeah. Well, the parade floats, they even made fun of it, like, you know, a bit. And then, and, like, even the T-shirts down there you could buy were, like, I survived Hurricane Katrina, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt, a plasma TV, you know, like, the list of things. I totally fucked up that joke. But, you know, it was very self-aware, and they'd laugh about it until you got them actually talking about it, and then it was really sobering. And then, and then my friend brought me to the lower Ninth Ward, where it got hit really fucking bad, and it's... Yeah, it was basically like Fallout, but for real.
So there were mutants going around New Orleans.
It was so fucked up.
We're slowing down time.
Yeah,
shooting people in the head. Really nice.
Maybe we should change topics before this becomes like serious chat.
Well,
by the
speaking of Fallout, video games, am I right? What is up with those? Those are a thing that we like, right?
The most seamless of segues.
Don't worry, I'll edit in a musical transition in there somewhere.
Here, I'll help you out. Man, how about those iPhone casual games? Have you played Where's My Water yet by Disney?
I haven't, but I've heard of Angry Birds.
You know what though? Where's My Water? I would call it the Breaking Bad of video games.
I'm the one who downloads.
Come on, Mr. Bird. I couldn't think of any iPhone games.
That's okay. But you're quite involved in that whole industry, aren't you?
I'm making an iPhone game, which I'm not at liberty for various reasons to discuss exactly which game it is, but it's basically a kid's game, and it's like a shoot 'em up without shooting. So it's like a MUP, I guess you'd call it.
Rated M, but for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, but it's a parallax side scroller, and you collect letters basically. So by tilting the phone.
So is this the follow up to your brilliant app that makes polygons change into other polygons? Because I remember you showed me that quite a while ago, and I pretended to be impressed by it. Like, wow, that square turned into a hexagon. That's gonna make some money in the iTunes store, bro.
I didn't mean it like that. It was like one of those tutorial, like baby's first app kind of thing. I mean,
and that's why it's number one right now.
No, absolutely, yeah. No, so this is probably gonna be my second game style app. My first one's like Photo Hunt. It's like total crap, basically.
Photo Hunt sounds like the generic version of Pokemon Snap.
No, well, it more or less is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You throw photos at each other is the idea. You're like a trainer and you have a rival, and you throw them, right? Because you gotta.
So like paper where you throw it, it just kind of lands right in front of you.
Kinda.
And then you're really embarrassed about it.
You know what? Actually, it's not on our agenda, but I think I do have a topic I would like to talk about.
We have an agenda.
We did. Remember, wasn't that one of the complaints with the podcast? We need more of an agenda.
Oh yeah, we're doing really great about that so far. So New Orleans, this is what people are going to want to hear. Mardi Gras. People who watch Retsutalk love going to Mardi Gras.
Can I just, before we start talking, can I just read my bullet list here?
Yes, go ahead.
Breaking Bad, which we haven't touched. iPhone games.
We alluded to that. We teased it a little bit.
Well, then I have as a double dash here. Where's My Water is the Breaking Bad of iPhone games.
So you wrote that line. This is gonna kill on the podcast. Gotta get this one down.
I gotta save this for later. The next one is CAD.
That was actually a requested topic for some reason.
I thought of it before it was requested to be whatever. And then business school, which I'm also doing.
Yeah, you wrote a paper about ink, that's an ongoing thing. That sounds really fascinating.
My next assignment. Yeah, no.
I had a friend who went to MBA school, and I roomed with him for a little while, and it sounded like the most boring thing in the world. Like, it's very hard to make MBA school sound exciting. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, though.
Here's the deal. IT management is uniformly terrible, and mobile is a million times worse. So I'm like, I cannot do any worse than some of the people I have had the displeasure of working for.
Yeah, that's promising.
No, absolutely. This one guy I worked for, he was the director of mobile for 3 weeks at my company. And I work at a big corporation, and it is like impossible to get fired from a big corporation unless you really fuck up bad. 3 weeks he was gone.
Wow.
He was, yeah. He his first week, he one of the vendors we work with is led by a woman, and he called her baby.
What?
Like, sure, we'll get that for you, baby. Like,
in the South, that's like a capital punishment.
We were interviewing 2 people, and it was a guy and a girl, and we ended up hiring the guy. They were both really good candidates, and this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, Slow Beef," which I go by in the office.
Yeah, likewise.
What'd you think of her? And I'm like, and I'm like, well, I like them both, and I preferred him, and and I kind of went into why, which is my totally professional assessment. He goes, yeah, I like that. And he goes, I agree with you. I'll tell you why. I thought she was a little too pretty to be a programmer, and maybe a bit of a glamour puss.
Ugh.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I gotta get out of this conversation. So I was like, yeah, well, I think we're pretty inclusive here at my company, so I'll see you later, Mike.
And you punctuated that with baby, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, it was totally... Right. Or he was telling another programmer about a date he was going on with an Asian tennis player. And the other programmer was like, well, make sure you don't play her in tennis, haha. And he's like, yeah, I'm just really worried more about her body. Okay. And you know what? Like, this rampant sexism aside, he had no fucking idea what he was doing. It was ridiculous.
And now he's the president.
Now he now is the head of mobile for, no, I shouldn't mention the company, but for a pretty big publishing company.
Oh, good for... Great.
He's like a snake oil salesman and just sort of lies his way through anything, and apparently like he has no one working for him in this new position, so so anyway, I'm like, yeah, I could do way better than that. Teach me about the business.
And this is why you're in the MBA school now, is to get out of that world, right? To manage your own place?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, among other things.
How will this benefit Retsupurae is what I'm getting at.
Well, actually, and no joke, we did talk about retsupurae in my marketing class.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that you asked your professor a few pointers.
Yeah, I
or
did
discussed
actually.
A few pointers with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I swear to God, we're not plugging or anything, but because we sell merch, but like in all honesty, he was talking about like merchandising and things like that in terms of marketing, and I brought up like, yeah, I have this, I actually brought this up in class. I'm like, well, I have this YouTube channel, and it got kind of popular, and we like sell T-shirts or whatever. And I'm like, we had trouble deciding how many to buy and stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're pretty much fucked. No, the whole concept is known as like forecasting, basically.
Right.
Where you're trying to decide like, well, how much of supply do I need? And like,
yeah. It's interesting because like you and I kind of talked about that, like before you had gone through this stuff in class. So it's kind of neat how it ties in.
Well, everything goes through that. And like the example he gave us was actually Cadillac. When they came out with, I think, the SRX, they had like you could have like a V6 or a V8 engine.
Yeah, and they sold T-shirts for both of them.
And that's exactly right. Yeah. But they ordered like 50-50, right? Because they were like, I don't know what people are going to buy. But like with an MSRP of like $46,000, it's like most people were just like, yeah, give me the V8. So like they made 50-50, but 90% of people bought the V8. So Cadillac totally sucks is the moral of the story.
Oh, interesting. No,
it's like it's just like you have no way of knowing because there's no fucking data anywhere. You know what I mean? So for like how many T-shirts should you buy if you have a popular YouTube channel? Or I don't even know how to call us popular. What would you call us? Gimmicky.
Yeah, kind of.
Very niche market. Triple Z list.
So isn't the whole thing trying to take human behavior and turn it into like a computer calculation?
No, because the whole thing is like people don't act. They act what's called bounded rational. Like you try to make the best purchasing decisions you can, giving imperfect information. And the idea is in marketing you have to try to control that information and blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. By the way, the most annoying thing about business school is there's someone in the class always who thinks they know more than the professor, and they like end up taking like 10 minutes of class time the whole time.
Oh, that's like any class, college or grad school.
I guess so. But it's more annoying because in grad school, when you're like kind of paying for it yourself, it's like I have just far less patience. Because like this one kid's like, well, brands don't work on me, and the professor's like, listen, I know. He goes, I get one of these in every class who thinks brands don't work on you. I promise they do. He's like, no, they don't work at me. He goes, okay, what kind of TV do you have? And he's like, well, I have a Samsung, but I don't care. He goes, okay, what kind of car do you drive? Well, I have an Acura. What'd you drive before that? I'm like, well, another Acura, but that's not it. You know what I mean? It was like ended up being this like kind of like, I'm just going to contradict you for the sake of contradicting you kind of thing.
He has 2 Acuras and a Samsung TV? What a dick.
Business school.
Ugh. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's full of douchebags.
But
yeah,
to the fray.
I have to give a presentation on ink.
Yeah, you were telling me about that, and I went to another window very quickly.
This is very boring. I can't even spin this into a podcastable topic.
Ink? Wow.
Ink. Should you invest in it?
Ink is my topics 2 through 4 for today's podcast. Where do I start?
Let me go back to my bullet list. Have we touched any of this? By the way, wait, I'm sorry. Ink is the Breaking Bad of things you can manufacture.
Oh, you combined 2 of your bullet points. That's brilliant. We're saving time today.
Totally improv.
You are learning a lot from your improv class. What? Your business school.
Whatever it is.
It's the same thing.
Are we 20 minutes in? Should we talk about, what should we talk about?
How about games? People ask to hear about games. Anything you're playing lately? Games you're into?
I am into 774 Deaths on my iPhone.
Oh, mobile gaming.
I haven't played a console game in like about 2-3 months.
You're missing out on some good ones.
I hear Max Payne 3 is great.
I've heard mixed things about Max Payne 3.
What have you heard?
Just that it doesn't
define mixed games
as well as it's like the characterization of Max Payne's kind of weird from the previous games, things of that sort.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That seems like a fairly easy character to nail. I mean, have sex with.
Mm-hmm. Duh.
Mm.
No, I haven't played any major releases in a while. I've been playing Vanquish. Have you heard of that?
Oh, no. Somebody mentioned on my Form Spring it's supposed to be like this great game.
It's really, really good. I don't remember when exactly it came out, but it's a bargain game now. You can get it for like $20 on PS3 or 360.
What is it, like a cover shooter?
It's a third-person shooter, kind of Gears of War-ish, but the controls are incredibly, incredibly tight, and the gameplay is some of the most fun in a shooter I've experienced in quite some time. Like, I'd say up there with like Uncharted as far as just like pure fun goes.
Can you take cover while you're shooting?
You can take cover.
Well, then this is my
really
game for me.
What's really neat about the game to me is that so you're this guy in this robot mech suit, and you have these boosters on your feet, so you can literally like speed slide across entire like parts of the level while you're fighting people.
Literally, not figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That sounds fun.
It has some bullet time elements as well, like your Max Payne-ish kind of stuff, but again, it's like really tight. The controls are incredibly responsive. The guns are neat. Again, you can slow down time. It's really cool. You have a suit that like overheats if you try to do too much with it, so you have to think of like your risk to what you want to do sort of scenarios. It's fun.
Who made the game? Who made it?
I can tell you as soon as I boot up Wikipedia. Sega. Sega. Developed by Platinum Game
You really didn't say it like that, though. Like, Sega? I don't know. Have you ever heard of them?
This kind of underground group.
Sega?
It's up-and-coming indie developer I'm not sure if you've heard of.
Here in the year 3000, I've never heard of Sega.
And actually, the game's been out for quite some time. It was released in 2010, apparently.
I'm sorry, I have played a real video game recently.
So you're saying mobile games are not real video games, Slow Beef? Are you disparaging the entire industry that you're working on?
Can I just throw in there, though, don't buy that 774 Deaths game.
Yeah,
it's by Square Enix. It's $4. It's not worth it. And I'll get into why later, if you like. But I've been playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which I know I'm like 2 years late on. But
yeah, I played the demo of that game, and I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
very much.
no, the
like
demo's kind of crummy.
Like I couldn't figure out what I was doing.
The problem thing with Amnesia 2, it takes a very long time to get going. And I kind of dug it because, like, I was willing to buy into it, so I would play it with, like, the lights off and headphones and shit.
Yeah, and you recorded yourself, like, reacting to it as you were playing, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the worst, this is kind of shameful, is I did yell, not yell, but I was like, shit, at one point, you know, because something, like, rounded a corner. And then my fiance's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, and I had to close the
I'm just thinking about our marriage.
I said it angrily, though, I swear. Anyway, I like Amnesia a lot, but it takes very long to get into, and then it kind of gets annoying if, like, once you kind of get past that oh crap kind of aspect of it, then it's like you're playing a stealth game.
Well, you're playing a stealth game where you have no offensive capabilities pretty much, so you have to run away all the time, right?
Well, it works. Like, yeah, like it works to some point where something's chasing you and you have to, like, turn off your lantern. So you're running through a dark hallway and you cannot turn around to see if this thing is still behind you. And that totally works, and it's, like, kind of freaky. But then, like, when you die, you have to, like, do it again, and it's like, it kind of loses something the second or third time. It's still great, and I would very highly recommend, but, you know.
So if you're a year or two behind video games, you'll love this podcast.
Yes.
We're talking about breaking games.
Amnesia is the Breaking Bad of horror games, is what I'm getting at. 774 Deaths is the mobile game I'm obsessed with. It's I Want to Be the Guy for iPhone.
Which is the Breaking Bad for...
for the Breaking Bad of free indie games.
Right.
No, it's, so what happens is, there's this Japanese game called, Nanashi no Game, which is like the unnamed game. Somebody did a Let's Play of it, actually, on the Something Awful forums. Ghost Car. And it's a game that you play it on your DS and it kills you in 7 days, is the premise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they decided to port it to iPhone, except the only version we got here in the West, in the North American App Store, is a really hard platformer, which has nothing to do with the original. So that was $4 down the drain. Anyway, no, and it's extremely hard, but it's made more so because iPhones kind of control like shit when they're on platformers, you know?
Of course.
Right, and then I played it during Amnesia: The Dark Descent when it was like the lights out and it was totally awful. Can't recommend. I would almost call it the Malcolm in the Middle of video game experiences.
We've been playing Scramble with friends a little bit, off and on.
Yeah, but I always win.
80% of the time. I've won a few games.
A few?
A few. Like
I
at least
one.
2.
Really, 2?
I think at least 2.
Can I just... No, I want to tell you diabetes and my mobile game experience, which is like we play a mobile game and then I end up winning and then he just stops.
Well, I don't stop. I just like forget to respond to your next game for a while because like the games thing on my phone is like on the last page.
I think chess with friends, though, we didn't play ever. Like, we played it once, and then that was that.
Yeah, well, I had this, like, incredible brain fart where I like, had you the whole game, and then I did something incredibly stupid that you took advantage of, and I was incredibly sad at myself.
I don't even remember that happening. I remember it being a fairly evenly matched game, and then you did something completely stupid, and I just took advantage of it.
Yeah, well, the thing that we have in common, our stories have in common, is that I did do something incredibly stupid, and
I
was very disappointed in myself.
No, I remember I did something like you can do in chess, like castling, and you're like, wait, what did you just do? I remember that, like something.
What
you
is
could
this
do
sorcery?
Like,
what are you using your iPhone knowledge for, Slow Beef?
It was like that. Like I did maybe an en passant thing, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Was that a fencing term? What are you talking about?
It's when you take a pawn in passing. It's like if you had like a pawn past, the middle line in the chessboard.
Look, it sounds like you're telling me that you wall-hacked chess with friends.
I'm just saying.
And I don't appreciate that.
No, look, I'm just saying chess is like the Breaking Bad of board games. Oh, good God. I
programmed Deep Blue into my iPhone, so we'll replay. Deep Blue is the Breaking Bad of chess computers.
The iPhone is the Breaking Bad of Breaking Bad. Wait,
Speaking of, Breaking Bad Season 5, I think, is premiering in about a week.
I have Season 4 on DVD that we borrowed from my friends here on my right hand.
Yeah. Breaking Bad is the Breaking Bad of television shows.
Please watch this. It is such a good show.
Well, that wasn't on the agenda.
No, that was my first bullet point. It was like, I want to talk about Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
No, I don't know why, but I just started watching it very recently, and I got my fiance into it, and we've been like trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Now.
Incredible show. Every step.
It really is.
That's all you really need to say about it. I think most people are going to be on board with Breaking Bad who listen to this.
If you do, yeah. Do you think we should explain it at all, or in case no one?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, Breaking Bad is streaming on instant Netflix, so if for some reason you're not into the show, start watching it on there. You'll get into it.
It really is such a great show. I'm stunned at how good it is.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays Walter, he won 3 Emmys consecutively.
Yeah, in a row. Yeah.
The same fucking role.
And I think the totally third time, Aaron Paul won Best Supporting Actor. So, actor and supporting actor for the same show win the same year. You got to get into the show.
Let me just throw it in here, and I'll totally sell it to you. Bob Odenkirk, and he joins the cast in season 2, and he's effing incredible.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is really the funniest motherfucker alive.
Yeah, I never saw Mr. Show until like about a year ago, maybe. I saw the first 2 seasons. I haven't seen 3 or 4 yet.
I love Mr. Show. Most of my Let's Play jokes are really just Mr. Show jokes that I try to disguise.
Yeah.
It's the Breaking Bad of sketch comedy.
So, speaking of like little indie games, I'm going back to you saying you were playing Amnesia. I've been playing Binding of Isaac.
How is that? I want to get that.
It's incredible. Get it. It's like you can get the game and the expansion for like $8 on Steam.
Let me write my ink paper, and then we'll talk about Binding of Isaac.
Okay.
No,
well, if your ink paper sells really well, then yeah, use the proceeds to get Binding of Isaac. Yeah, it's a really addictive game. It's really easy to get into. It's a roguelike, very influenced by Legend of Zelda. Everything's randomly generated. You kill enemies, you get items, you make your character more powerful. It's really, really fun. And it's hard. I like hard games.
Is there any... Excuse me?
I'm really hard right now when I'm thinking about this game, is what I'm saying.
Well, get 774 Deaths if you like.
Alright, I'm downloading it now.
I know. A real one, Where's My Water is a pretty incredible game for the iPhone. I know that's, like, stupid, but, like... It really gives you a lot of bang for your buck, and then they do IAP very right, where they're like, here's 100 new levels for free, and if you give us 99 cents, we'll give you like 100 more.
So is this a game where you like move your phone around to swish water into something? Like, how does it work?
Well, I was kind of stunned when I heard the concept. Disney made like a physics-based puzzle game, and the idea is you dig through dirt to make water flow to get to like a pipe to give an alligator a bath, basically. Mm-hmm. And
it's a common goal for people.
Oh, sure, yeah. And then they introduce, like, steam and balloons in it and shit like that. And it's, like, it's really weird. Because, again, like, you're like, what the fuck does this have to do with Disney? But it's just, like, a really addictive puzzler.
Oh. Well, Disney is the Breaking Bad of iPhone game producers.
I can't stand Disney, by the way.
Really?
There's just a weird thing about me. I cannot. I'm the black sheep of my family. They all love Disney. Mm. My fucking mother has Minnie on the top of her Christmas tree, like an angel Minnie with a candle. Like, and I'm not a religious person by any means, but I'm like, that has to be.
Your family worships Minnie, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. I'll put it to you another way. I had a trip to Tokyo and Kyoto once, and my sister was like, "Are you going to go to Tokyo Disney?" And I'm like, "No." Because I'm not flying halfway across the fucking globe to go to Disney World, and she thought that was a really stupid thing. And then, like, one of my best friends, actually the guy who's going to be best man, my best man, his family, you, his family is obsessed with Disney, to the point where, like, one of his brothers is dating this girl, and they were going to go to Disney World, and she's like, "Well, can we like spend one day in just regular Orlando and not go into the parks?" And he thought that was really fucking stupid. Like, he's like, well, why the hell would you want to even do that?
Who are you?
Right. And I had to, like, sort of be the interpreter. Like, I get it, because my family's like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you're there, you have to go to the parks, because that's just what you have to do. It's like a cult. I can't, by extension, I cannot stand Disney.
What is the last Disney movie you saw?
Pixar doesn't count, right? They're not really Disney. It's produced. The money's there, but it's... Okay, the last Disney movie I saw in the theater, which I walked out of, was Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
my friend Min and I went, and then like 30 minutes in, I'm like, I want to go smoke a cigarette, and he was like, he goes, I don't want to come back, and I'm like, yeah, neither do I. Fuck this, we'll go to a bar instead.
You were never heard from again.
I hated that fucking movie.
Yeah, that one wasn't so good.
The first one was fine.
Yeah, the first one was fine. The second one, I don't even remember. The third, I think I was on a date on that third one, and I just zoned out.
Well, the third one, if you think about it, right, they like start out in Singapore, and they're trying to get a ship so they can use the ship to get another ship. But keep in mind, to get there in the first place, they needed a ship. It was like completely ridiculous. It was basically a ship quest.
Well, I have two words that'll make you feel all better about Disney.
Are they Breaking Bad?
No, it's John Carter.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One of the worst grossing movies of all time.
Oh, well, hey.
Yeah.
How about it?
Yay.
Hey, what are they even coming out with now? Oh, Maleficent with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, that's a thing?
Hey, you know what? I have a video game-related topic from that. You ever play Kingdom Hearts?
The first one, yeah. Pretty fun.
What the fuck is going on with Kingdom Hearts?
So they're trying to sell to, like, a few different audiences at once.
What do you think?
You got your Disney enthusiast and your JRPG enthusiast and trying to blend them together, and the formula worked.
How? It's like combining crystal meth and high school chemistry.
Talking to Disney characters.
Oh.
And nerds dig that shit, and I fell for it for the first game. I didn't play any of the others, though.
I didn't really get it, like, at all.
It was pretty fun. It was like a hack and slash RPG.
What is a hack and like a Diablo?
Kind of Diablo-esque. More like, I don't know. I guess like a Final Fantasy 12 kind of setup where it's not like turn-based necessarily. But you got your like Keyblade, you hack shit, cast spells every now and then.
I like how you throw that.
And you got Goofy.
You got your Keyblade. Like, oh yeah, all right, Keyblade. No, I got
Look,
you.
everybody knows about the Keyblade.
Sure.
Duh.
No, I do know about the Keyblade.
Duh.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that. I never played the second or 700 other ones that were released, so I don't know where the series has gone at this point.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, this isn't even on the agenda.
You know what? I thought of something I
going
wanted
right
to add to the agenda, video game related.
Okay.
How about that Pokemon?
I've never played a Pokemon game.
I played once a couple of years back. I played a Game Boy. I tried one of the Game Boy ones. I really forget which. And 20 minutes in, I'm like, I don't care.
Well, I think that's my problem is that I'm just not into. This isn't anything against Pokemon specifically, but I'm just not really a portable gaming person so much.
See, I am. I really like portable games. 999 was one of my favorites, and but okay, here's my Pokemon confession because I've banned Pokemon in the Let's Play forum on SA.
Absolutely, it's all I think about.
All right, are you ready for the Pokemon confession?
Yes.
I jerk off to a constant. No,
Whoa.
I used to watch the cartoon way back, like in college.
Get the fuck out of here.
I thought it was the funniest shit in the world.
Like, you watched it ironically, or you genuinely...
Oh, no, ironically.
Okay.
I could give a fuck about Ash and Brock. But, like, there's this episode called Island of the Giant Pokemon where the Pokemon are talking to each other, but they're just saying their names. And if you're really drunk, that is one of the funniest goddamn things in the world.
That's how I talk to people when I've been drinking.
Basically.
Diabetes!
Please don't ever do that again.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's all I really know of Pokemon, except then, like, when Let's Play came along and people did what Pokemon Let's Plays, and 90% of them were, like, I don't know, like, hey, I want to write myself into Pokemon. And I was like, wow.
Wait, has that happened more than once? I can think of one time that's happened.
Well, it has happened more than once. But the big time it happened, I think you're referring to, is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon by Fred M. Sonic.
The Watergate of Pokemon self-insertion Let's Plays.
No, I got a lot of shit for this when I was modding.
Why?
It was... Well, no, because this guy did a Let's Play of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and he wrote it like he was in the game.
Sure.
And I didn't guess it right away, and I actually told people to shut up and knock it off, like, making fun of him and shit. because I didn't quite understand what was going on. And then like 3 days later, you are actually bugging me about it. Like, hey, just so you know, this Pokemon Let's Play is a little creepy, you know. And then 3 days later, I'm like, okay, this is fucking ridiculous. Knock it off. Yeah. That's that story.
That's good. That was a good story. I enjoyed that
Thank
one.
you.
A classic of Let's Play lore.
No, Pokemon has always been a pain in my ass, though. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is about that fucking, like, franchise, but it is just the most annoying fucking shit to have to deal with.
I would say, like, there's this thing I've been wondering about for a long time. Which is worse?
Okay.
You have your Pokemon fandom, and you have your Sonic fandom.
See,
both are pretty damn bad, but it's hard. I don't really know what it is about them that brings out so much. I don't even know what the word is, but.
Well, here's the deal. For me, with Let's Play, there's just not a lot of Sonic games that you can Let's Play. You know, like Cyber Shell did the side-scrolling original ones, and that's done. And Kung Fu Jesus and them did Sonic 2006. So it's almost like you do the Let's Play, and who cares? That said, the advanced games, there's always something creepy that comes in, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand Sonic fandom at all.
I don't either, and I just want to know what it is about the games that brings out so much creepiness and weirdness in fans.
I don't know.
It's so strange. Pokemon, I can see, is like, Pokemon is just so ubiquitous and is like so ingrained in the childhoods of so many people, so I can kind of see it there, but Sonic I just don't quite get.
See, Pokemon you can kind of say is almost like a Skinner box kind of deal.
Well, Pokemon appeals to like the collector kind of OCD kind of
that's exactly
thing
it,
in people.
yeah.
But
that's
Sonic,
exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but what is it about Sonic?
I don't know. Like, it was like a kind of fun game. And it was a fun game, back in the day.
I mean, I never had a Genesis growing up, but I had seen some of the games, and they seemed like pretty fun, solid platformer, speed through level games. But, you know, what is there besides that?
I don't know. And, like, I had, within my GameCube, I had, like, Sonic Heroes, I think it was. And you could, like, play as Shadow, who had a gun, which was, like, the stupidest thing I've ever even fucking heard. Yeah. And there's, like, all these characters, and I had no idea who the fuck any of them were, and it's just ridiculous, and I don't understand what the obsession is.
We'll have to get a Sonic expert to guest on the next podcast.
I would prefer not to have that.
I probably would not either. That would be bad. Let's have every Sonic fan guest on our next podcast. Let them all talk it out simultaneously.
All right.
I think that's a good solution.
You know, we're starting to get a little low on time.
Oh, yeah, we have a strict time limit. I forgot.
Well, that's true. No, I know. But I do want to bring up... I think we should talk about CAD.
Oh, sure. That's kind of your thing, so... I can contribute some flavor text, but I'll leave the explanation to you.
I would like your input on it, honestly.
Sure.
What'd you think? No. All right, so... This honestly gets into webcam ward as well.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a thing for a little while.
Yeah, which if you didn't know, by the way, was like our front page Something Awful article where we made fun of like, you know, things more than just video. It
was a way we were able to take like one reason we had gotten removed from YouTube or suspended from YouTube back in the day is because we violated their quote unquote community guidelines by making fun of people who actually showed themselves, and that was kind of against the YouTube mission statement or whatever.
But if you remember, that was CAD's fault.
That exactly, yeah. And I think that's one reason why that got translated to Webcam Ward, or how Webcam Ward got started in the first place, is so we could keep doing some of those. Yeah. And why we've stopped since doing those on YouTube.
Right. So, all right, CAD. Where do I begin? I want to be fair. I really don't hate CAD or anything like that, or think he's a total dick, and I feel bad for him. Recently, because I heard he got some bad news insofar as he always wanted to be a cop for some reason, and I just heard through the grapevine he cannot be a cop, which I don't know
like
why
for medical reasons, or
it's kind of like for oyster reasons, like he has flat feet or something, like kind of, you know.
Okay,
like,
hang on. Okay, what is up with that flat feet bullshit?
Okay, wait, can we just interrupt CAD and talk about oyster for a minute then?
So for those who don't know, Oyster was this. He was on the Let's Play forum for a little bit back in the early heydays of it, and he was very knowledgeable about some very select games, Mega Man and Zelda in particular. And so he was big in the Let's Play community for a little while. As far as his nerdiness goes, he was endearing to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And then he mysteriously started having some medical problems that no one could quite diagnose.
Severe.
What's that?
Serious ones.
Yeah, serious ones. Like, it was, getting in the way of his day-to-day life, and so he had disappeared from the whole Let's Play scene for a little while. He'd gone to different specialists, and I think he was up north somewhere, and then eventually oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I just wanted to interject. He told us, which I think is complete bullshit, that he was in so much pain his doctor told him it was okay to smoke. Which,
why would any doctor ever...
Who the fuck are you seeing? What are you, the Breaking Bad of the medical profession?
This nicotine will just perk you right up, boy.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. But eventually he finally went to this one doctor who diagnosed him with literally flat feet. That was causing all of his problems. And I still don't understand how that makes any sense.
I remember writing him, this private message, hey, man, just so you know, I know we, joke around and shit, but, I hope you're really doing okay. And I felt so fucking cheated. And it was, just flat feet. Thank God the kid's okay, but fuck you. Flat feet.
Flat feet.
Anyway, CAD.
So, that was Oyster.
No. How did it start?
Was it, in the Metroid Prime?
No.
How did the whole networking thing start?
My first experience with CAD was way back in the day. I was doing the LP master list back when it was on a wiki before Baldark did it. And I was, doing it manually, and he contacted me because in BYOB, they did a Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda. Or Ocarina of Time, whatever.
Vaguely remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and he asked me to archive it. That was my first dealing with CAD. And the guy he guested with, Slybo, I heard, basically refused to talk to him after the thread was over, which I thought was weird. So anyway...
That's not very chill.
CAD is personal friends with Lotax. They're both in, Missouri or whatever, and they're friends.
Yeah.
And he was... He had a front page article called MMO Roulette, where he would play different MMOs and make fun of them and write an article about it, blah blah blah.
Yeah. And he modded the MMO forum on S.A. as well.
That's correct.
At that same time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the MMO HMO.
Yeah.
When I became a mod, here's a mod forum leak. There's a thread where you there's a serious thread where you talk about forum shit, and then there's a non-serious thread where you just bullshit, right?
Sure.
And CAD was really the first person to really talk to me there. I didn't really know anybody, and Louis God, the guy who kind of made me a mod, didn't post there a lot. Now he does, but back in the day I just didn't know anybody, so it was just sort of this awkward hey guys kind of shit. But CAD was hey, how you doing, all that stuff, and he was kind of weird, but at least he talked to me. And he was big into Let's Play, and Retsupurae he was really interested in. So we let him in a couple of videos, and he got us banned from YouTube.
Yeah, I think the tipping point video was there was this guy dressing up like a pig talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, we called it Porkemon.
That's right, Porkemon.
Right,
yeah.
And CAD called him a fag.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit too strong.
Yeah, and I'm not. I don't like the word whatever.
No, I'm not a fan.
Nah, it's It sucks too, being as old as I am. You grow up, and that's a word you use a lot.
Yeah, and, you look back and man, I used to talk like that. And
yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Kind of a dick.
It's kind of a habit you have to break too, because growing up, I would say oh, that's gay, but you have to kind of Yeah. I use lame now, which unfortunately is a slur against the handicapped, but fuck them.
One step at a time. We'll get you through it.
Anyway, but yeah, so CAD called the guy a fag. And this one YouTube user called the Fury of the Tubes took it upon himself to flag all the videos where we had someone in front of a camera and got us banned from YouTube. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind this is the second time, because the first time people were full of shit and made copyright claims on our retsupuraes. This is back when we were Retsupurae, P-A-R-Y.
Yeah, fun fact, YouTube account wasn't always spelled the way it is.
That's correct. And I even remember when we got banned from YouTube the second time, like, you and I were just kind of like, I don't know if I feel like doing this anymore. You know, it was like really almost like the end.
Yeah, it was like not really worth it to fight back for it. It's like,
And we made the Retsutalk, Play account.
Yeah, and that was more just to archive what we did have, just so it wasn't lost forever.
Right. But Cybershell put in a fake counterclaim on our behalf.
Yes.
Which somehow resurrected the YouTube account later.
It worked for some reason. I think Cybershell left us a comment recently. He wants to guest on the podcast, and he's welcome to.
I'm more than happy to have Cybershell there.
For next time, love to have you. Mm-hmm. Research Indicates actually left a comment as well.
I'd love to have the two of them together. Yeah. I'd rather them podcast than us.
Yeah, just like Cybershell, you can be Slowbeef. Research Indicates, you can be me. Just like talk like you think we would talk. Do this for us.
But I didn't hold anything against CAD for that. I was just, but we made fun of Christopher Bohr's ghost hunting video.
Oh yeah, that was a controversial thing somehow.
Yeah, and CAD's friends with Lotax. He showed it to Lotax, and Lotax liked it. Lotax is the head of somethingawful.com, if you didn't know. And he wanted to make it a front page article, and. I mean, back in the day, like, you and I are, like, still goons or whatever. It was like, even being a monitor, it was like, holy shit, like, front page article for something awful. That's awesome,
Yeah, that'll be a fun little side thing to do.
Absolutely. And I remember saying to you when CAD's like, let's actually wants us to do this, I remember saying to you specifically, like, because CAD thought it would be me and him. And I'm like, well, you and I kind of did retsupurae or whatever, so I'm totally consider you a part of this. But it got pretty awkward because CAD did consider it like just me and him. And I managed to bring you into a video, and CAD then was like, well, I'm going to bring Hulk and Matt into a video too. So he was kind of territorial there.
Yeah, that was a little odd, I thought. But
and I think you and I kind of saw it in our very first webcam word video, where CAD dictated to us how to overdub a video and make fun of it.
Yeah, that was the thing. We were like, we had the video loaded that we had identified we wanted to do, and while we were just like bullshitting around, like we were IMing each other, making fun of it. I mean, he was literally talking about like structure and what to do and what jokes were.
I have to say, it was one of the funniest things because
I had to like mute my microphone several times because I was laughing so hard at what he was saying.
Because like he would really go on like a 5-minute stint on like, yeah, because you want to get the joke ready and make fun of the guy. And then, like...
It was like he was teaching Jokes 101.
Yeah, and then he would stop and we'd, like, talk for a minute, and then he would do it again, and I'd mute my microphone and, like, I am you, and be like, holy shit, he's doing it again, serious?
Is this really happening?
It was nuts.
It was, like, literally, like, 20 to 30 minutes before we actually started doing the video.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why is there so much prep involved in this?
And that's it. I mean, he was a nice guy. He just...
Yeah, he wasn't like a dick or anything. It was just kind of overly explanatory about what he wanted to do with it, which is a little odd, but it was a front page article. I guess he thought it was... Was his MMO front page thing still going on at the same time, or did it switch over to this for him?
No, I think Lotax told him at one point, like, maybe it's enough for now.
Yeah, so to be fair, I can kind of see, like, he wants it to be good, or he wanted it to be good, so maybe that's where some of the explanation came in, but yeah, it was kind of strange.
Yeah, and, like, CAD like, did, like, a ROM pit article for a while another something awful person, like a paid writer, was also doing it, and, yeah, and it got, like, really awkward, because CAD was just doing it, and the other person... was like, hey, I'm kind of writing this article now, so it's kind of getting in my way kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like basically CAD just kind of wanted to be accepted in a lot of ways, you know?
Yeah.
And he had a very hard time divorcing personal kind of feelings from, like, you're just making fucking videos on the internet or who cares.
Taking it a little bit too seriously, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of the breaking points came where we made fun of anime, CAD and I, in a webcam word video, and he wanted to append the video with anime pornography that was censored.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. This wasn't a video I was involved in, was it?
No, it wasn't, because...
Okay, Oh, yeah, you talked about this to me after the fact, that's right.
Yeah, because he IM'd me like, hey, I'm putting anime pornography at the end of the video, and I'm like, fucking why?
What?
And he's like, oh, it's funny. And I PM'd Garbage Day, who's like one of the head guys with Low Tax, and I'm like, hey, this is awkward, but I'm doing this webcam working with CAD, and he's putting fucking anime pornography. Can you guys talk to him or something? And then fucking one...
The only time that conversation has ever taken place.
And I feel CAD was kind of the whipping boy of the mod. Like, they kicked him out of the mod forum at one point.
Well, he got demodded eventually, too, for doing something weird in the MMO.
Yeah. Oh, God,
like, he threatened to ban people in, like, an MMO he was playing with some other people for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was all about exactly, but, yeah.
To be fair, it wasn't like he flexed his, MMO, like, his mod bustle too much. It was just more like, It was just more like he was, again, taking things too seriously, and he was, like, telling people, like, well, why don't you just why don't you just write a ban me if you feel, like, so fucked up about it or whatever. But he was, like, kind of subtly implying, like, why don't you do that, you know?
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, I mean, it was a pretty funny conversation if you look back at it, but, It was like this good girl was basically involved, and CAD and characters like, all right, if you guys don't like me, you can just go ban yourselves. But Trillian, take my hand, or something like.
Oh, this is a role-playing server.
Like he was like half in and out of character, and like this one guy's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and all this stuff. But anyway, so yeah, he got demodded, and then webcam ward was kind of all he had to hold on to, and. It was getting kind of worse and worse, like, with, like, creative differences, and he'd pick videos that I didn't really like to make fun of and things like that.
Yeah, kind of like, the kind that made you feel uncomfortable talking over him, yeah.
And then one day he, like, IM'd me, and he's like, listen, I have an idea, I'm making a new article with Low Tax, and I'm doing all this stuff, so I might have to give up webcam ward. And I, like, PM'd Garbage Day that day, like, listen, can me and this other goon, Diabetes, take over for webcam ward if CAD doesn't want to do it anymore? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, I don't care. And for the record, we'd have no idea what the hell he's talking about with this other article thing.
Yeah, so, I don't think it ever took off at all.
No, it didn't. And then I kind of felt a little bad where CAD's like, well, what the fuck, you jumped the gun on that one, you know? Then, like, months later in Let's Play, what got really awkward was, I guess I feel like because CAD was friends with Low Tax, he felt like he didn't have to... abide
by the rules that the other goons had to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it made things really awkward because we were friendly, and I felt like he was kind of taking advantage of that. Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, at one point, because he also played hockey a lot, S.A, I think, was the mod at the time, probated him for, like, 6 hours, which is, like, beyond nothing, you know?
Yeah, you can sleep through it, yeah.
Yeah, and he'd said something, like, out of line, and he, like, did that. And CAD freaked out on IM to me. Like, I don't fucking believe he's doing that. And I'm like, dude, it's not personal. He's like, well, he did it to me, so it's obviously personal. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not like that. We don't do shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks to probate something. You don't want to fucking be all like, hey, you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
you've probated Proteus before, haven't you?
Almost.
Oh, almost, but not quite.
I don't remember if I have or not. I definitely... I feel
like you have. I bring that up as an example because he was like, well, yeah, I deserve that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that you mention it, that does sound right. But no, I'll tell you the difference between the two of them, because this is what ended up, like, dissolving CAD and I. Is one time, Proteus and Psychedelic Eyeball were making fun of this one poster, and I don't remember exactly what the thread was or why. And this was wrong of me to do, but I was like, well, why don't you guys try to make a better update, and I'll probate whoever's is worse. But no, I mean, like, I've tried to make it like a content, like a fun kind of thing, you know? And Psychedelic Eyeball is like, yeah, sure, I'll try that. And Proteus is like, no, that's bullshit. He goes, I absolutely do not agree with the whole, you have to try to do, like, let's see you do better kind of thing. And he was absolutely right with it.
Yeah.
And he kind of put me in a position where I had to probate him. And I'm talking to him on IM, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? And he's like, no. He goes, you know what? You can consider it, what do you call it? Like, nonviolent dissent kind of thing?
I know what you're talking about. I just can't think
of
the word.
I can't think of the term.
Conscientious protesting kind
something
of
like that. Yeah. Conscientious objection or objector. Yeah. Anyway, Proteus was just like, you know what? I'll take the day. I think it's bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then a fucking, really on IM, A second after he said, he goes, so anyway, how you doing? Like, he was just totally moved on, did not care. Which I feel like
As he should.
I feel like it's like a healthy attitude at the forums.
It's easy to divorce what's going on in your day-to-day life from what's going on the internet.
And on the other hand, CAD got probated for 6 hours, and was like, I don't fucking believe SBA. So anyway, CAD violated the 3-month rule, and I think it was like the second time or whatever. He did like a Super Meat Boy thing.
Yeah.
And in the middle of his like amnesia paint, and I'm like, and again, this was like in a whole like, I felt like he was taking advantage of the fact that we were friendly, blah blah blah. So I probated him for a day, okay? One day, and he freaked out on me. And his point was, listen, I was only planning to post the one video. It's not a full Let's Play. What's the deal?
But he made a whole thread for it, right?
Yes, he did. And either way, though, he like never made that clear in the thread, and I only pieced that together from rereading the IM thread a couple of times, and where he called me like a prick, and like he was like really like he said something like I was being a dick about it,
like really abrasive IMs.
Yeah,
I remember you showing me some of them.
Yeah, now I'm remembering part of the story which I had forgotten, which came in the middle, but I'll bring that up in a second.
Sure.
But basically, I went to the mod forum and I'm like, look, I don't know what to do here. CAD, I probated CAD for a day. I feel like it's nothing. He's freaking out. Here's the IM log. What do I do? And one of the admins like, you know what? I'm sick of this, but we're going to pull the trigger on him. Mm-hmm. So they banned him. And then
the thing with a ban is that you can immediately just pay $10 and you're back.
Right, and which he did.
Which is what happened, yeah.
Yes, and then he was starting to kind of troll Let's Play and blah blah blah. And I mean, we didn't talk anymore since.
Like at that point, it almost seemed like he was daring you or the admins to do it again or do something worse.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I forgot about, which I do want to be fair about, was during I think it was Metroid Fusion or Prime. He was gonna retsupurae one of our videos with Blister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Blister turned it around on him and made fun of him and said,
yeah.
Yeah, and I think he felt kind of betrayed by me because Blister had contacted me beforehand. It's like, what's some shit I can make fun of CAD for? But I really only told him shit that everyone knew about, when he got demodded from MMO for the weird kind of Velen Banks thing.
Well, yeah, it's not like you have personal dirt on the guy. It's just internet shit.
It really was.
That doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, no. And you know what the fucked up thing is? CAD handled it right when it first came out, and he's because Blister stuttered when he was talking and stuff, and he's he had a legit good burn against Blister, well, maybe you could complete a fucking sentence or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
No, it was fine, but then he kept it going, and it went a little too far. Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
Right.
One of the things the reason I bring that up is one of the things I read later was that he felt that, I was always kind of against him, and that was part of it, but I don't know. It is what it is. I think he took this shit way too seriously, and...
Yeah, I think that's kind of the cornerstone of all this.
Yeah.
That you kind of, at some point, you got to learn to laugh at yourself a little bit, especially when it's an internet platform that you're dealing with.
Absolutely. That said, I can still never watch my old Super Metroid videos. I just can't.
Yeah, Psychedelic Eyeball made a very funny.
I can't
joke
watch
video.
it.
It was like making fun of TV tropes, but he was using your Metroid video and having a TV tropes page in the background. It's on our favorites page if you want to see it, but I highly recommend you watch it.
I can't watch it. I can't watch myself from back then.
No, that's perfectly legit. My old Let's Play, when Google Video kind of went kaput,
mm-hmm.
and it's all my old Let's Plays were on Google Video, and so I import them in mass to YouTube, but they got uploaded in entirely random order, so I privated all of them, thinking I'll make a playlist out of them later. But I didn't want to because this was 2007, and the videos just
mm-hmm.
I looked at a couple of them, and I was like, man, this isn't very good.
It kills me watching Dead to Rights again, and what I hate about it is I felt like a pretty good Let's Play in terms of our commentary, but the video quality is awful.
Oh, the first Dead to Rights?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dead to Rights was a PS1 game, right?
Xbox.
Oh, Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, Xbox One. Yeah, regardless.
Okay, so yeah.
feel like you watch. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like you watch Dead to Rights for the good graphics because they weren't. It was just one of those things. Like I wish I could kind of go back and do it again, type of deals.
We've come a long way since then.
How long has it been since we've done a Let's Play?
Last Let's Play was Metroid Prime 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have. That's.
Or did Dead to Rights Revolution come? Or
No, that was. Wait. No, that was after. That was after. Dead to
was
Rights.
after? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was like 2010, 11?
We got to do Police Knots.
We do need to do Police Knots, yeah.
That's the next one.
Well, that could be a whole other podcast talking about your efforts translating that game.
No, that could be the whole Let's Play talking about that.
Pretty much.
I'll
be yawning a lot during that.
we're 65 minutes in. We should, I think, get into
the ending theme.